This is the brand new automated metro that is changing the way people move in Sydney.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome to a brand new Trains Are Awesome. That's right, we're in Australia's largest city, and what a place this is. I visited once when I was about 6 or 7 years old. Back then, the only trains you could take were these big double-deckers known as Sydney trains. The Sydney Trains network is an electric regional rail network spanning 355 kilometers or 220 miles. It includes a loop around the central business district, which I think is what I rode all those years ago. It's hard to remember. There's also a light rail network in Sydney with modern trams that first started running in 1997 and a network that continues to expand. But what Sydney did not have back then when I was a kid was a metro system, and that for a city of over 5 million. Well, that has changed. Sydney now has a metro line and more on the way. As you'll see in today's video, Sydney's metro sets the bar high for other systems around the world. We begin our journey at Sydney Central Station, where my brother Bear found himself on a warm November night. Central Station dates back to 1906, and it serves the Sydney Trains network as well as intercity trains to places like Canberra, Melbourne, and Brisbane. The metro station here, however, opened this past year, in 2024. Sydney Metro and Sydney Trains are fully fare integrated, so you just pass through the same gates and then follow signs down to the metro platforms. The departures are listed under the turquoise section of the departure screens. We'll go down one set of escalators and then another long one. On our descent, we'll begin to see the impressive modern architecture that defines the Sydney Metro. Like I said, this station opened in 2024.
Hey Trains Are Awesome viewers, my hair is crazy, it is late at night, but before I leave Sydney, I couldn't pass the opportunity to ride the brand new metro line, or part of the metro line, right here at Central Station. So we're gonna take a ride and see what the hype is all about. But so far, this station has really high ceilings, quite impressive. So I'm a fan already, but we'll see if the ride experience is smooth.
Replace metro services between Macquarie University and Victoria Cross. Metro services run between Tullawong and Macquarie Park and between Victoria Cross and Sydenham only. Plan your trip at transportnsw.info.
So right now we will be taking it between Central to Victoria's Cross. There's a glitch on the screens that says Barangaroo. Tonight the trains don't seem to be running past Victoria Cross.
The platform screen doors make it a little bit hard to film the trains coming in, but here's our completely automated 6-car train. These were built by Alstom, who calls them the Metropolis. 45 were built in total, and as you can see, under normal circumstances, they do not have a driver.
The next stop is Gadigal.
The Sydney Metro line is currently the second longest driverless metro in the world. Only the Red Line in Dubai is longer. The first part of the Sydney Metro line, from Tullawong to Chatswood on the north side of Sydney, opened in 2019. But the much anticipated second phase of the line, under Sydney Harbour, through the central business district, and down to Sydenham, opened in August of 2024. And there are more extensions on the way. If we look at this map posted in the train, we notice a pink section on the line from Sydenham to Bankstown. This extension will open in 2025, but it's not just a new line like the current section. Instead, it will reuse a Sydney Trains line that is currently closed while they convert it from a regular train line to a metro line. When it reopens, passengers from the stations between Bankstown and Sydenham will be able to step on one of these automated metro trains. It's interesting to me how Sydney Metro and Sydney Trains interact. Like I said, they are fully fare integrated. You can use an Opal card or contactless payment, and the fares are the same for both.
Art Gallery of New South Wales. Change for T4 and Intercity South Coast Line trains.
There are plenty of cities worldwide where this is the case, but what makes Sydney's system so interesting is that in some ways, the metro is sometimes just as fast, if not faster, than the regional train network. In most cities, I think that the philosophy is commuter trains are faster for longer distances, metros are slower for those short distances within the city. But no, here in Sydney, the metro can top out at 110 kilometers per hour. It runs into the suburbs, sometimes with long gaps between stations. And yes, the Sydney Trains network does sprawl much farther, but in the most urbanized areas, the network is quite dense. In the central business district, I'd argue that the metro is more like the express service. The major difference between train and metro here seems to be the fact that the metro is automated. Like Bear said earlier, it seems that they were doing some track work between Victoria Cross and Chatswood, so Victoria Cross is as far north as we're going to go today. Once again, there's a beautiful, tall, vaulted ceiling. But to explore some more of the metro, let's get back on a southbound train and take it to Sydenham. These Alstom Metropolis trains have open gangways, which means they are completely walk-through.
Good evening. It's Evan to walk through the Sydenham. Thank you for traveling with Sydney Metro.
The onboard passenger information is great, and this really should be the standard for modern trains. Ridership of the metro in the last year was a little over 23 million, which seems pretty low compared to the other modes in Sydney until you realize that the section serving the central business district only opened in August. There is still time for ridership to grow, and the government certainly seems to see promise in the metro. There are 2 more lines under construction, and all the lines under construction or existing could see more extensions at some point. The Western Sydney Airport line is scheduled to open in 2026, running between St. Mary's, the soon-to-open International Airport, and the Aerotropolis. Interestingly, the Western City Airport line will be powered by 25,000 volts, rather than the 1,500 volts that the existing line uses. It will also use trains built by Siemens, not Alstom, so even if in the future the 2 lines were to connect, they would not be compatible with each other because of these technological differences. And then there is Sydney Metro West, which will run from the Central Business District to Westmead, hopefully sometime in the early 2030s. It seems as though future transit projects in Sydney will fly under the banner of the Metro. Now we've arrived at Sydenham, where a transfer is available to the Sydney Trains network. Remember, in the future, the Metro will continue from here to Bankstown.
The next stop is Waterloo.
Time to take our last train of the night back to Central Station. The most common critiques that I've heard about the Sydney Metro is that it still leaves quite a few suburbs without transit access, something that will be made worse by the fact that all the lines, once they're completed, will not connect with each other. The Sydney Trains network is set up in a way that requires a lot of suburb-to-suburb trips to be made through the Central Business District, and I guess people were hoping that the Metro would undo that a little bit. But it is encouraging to see New South Wales invest in such a high-quality transit system. The Metro helps relieve the worst congestion on the Sydney Trains network, it speeds up journey times for some passengers, and it shows a commitment to high-quality public transportation that is attractive for people to use.
One thing to note is this train is not necessarily designed for very tall people to walk through. But that's okay.
I will continue to watch the developments of the Sydney Metro with great interest, and I cannot wait to check it out for myself.
So, that was an incredible subway experience. Very clean, very new trains. I love how open it is. It adds a sense of safety on board, being able to see whatever is happening in the entire metro. The distances between the different stations vary so much. Sometimes the ride is like 35 seconds. Sometimes it's like 4 minutes at a high speed. So that's interesting, especially when you look at the map. Well, all in all, great service. Excited to see more metro services added. So, for now, thank you for watching, and remember, trains are awesome. Also in Australia.
If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content about trains from around the world, then please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome. Check out our Instagram, our Patreon, the Trains Are Awesome store. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.